Hello. So with Unreal Engine 5.5 coming out, there are a few crazy new features. One of them is the Mutable character customization plugin, which is kind of confusing. Seems like it could be really powerful. There's not heaps of tutorials floating around about it, and not heaps of documentation either currently, so I thought I'd have a stab at just sort of looking at how some of the features work, such as this one, which is the population and crowd component. I basically have different instances of, I don't know if you can tell, but there's actually two different face meshes. There's one and there's the other. They're metahumans. I just couldn't be bothered plugging in the eyes and stuff, so for now it's the same skin texture. We've obviously got the same outfit, but we've got two colors, and coincidentally most of them ended up being kind of sticking to one color. I don't know why. This one is the exception, my levitating friend here. It's pretty simple. Basically, you might save it might take you just as long to just read through the documentation it does to watch this video, but I thought I'd just throw that out there in case anyone is interested. So to start off with, you will need to have a few things. One of them you'll need to have your customizable object. There's a good tutorial by SmartPoly, which kind of lays out how to use it. It looks kind of complicated, but it's really not. It's pretty simple. There's just a few nodes connecting your object. This is kind of the base of my object, so I have here the body mesh, and then you have some sort of component switches that set up different parameters. This is basically where, if I could be bothered, I would set up the different sort of LODs and textures for the metahuman face, but this is actually running the face right here. You can see it there. And head 2 comes out there. If you follow the tutorial and have this already set up, you'll already understand what this does, but basically all it means is I have a couple of parameters for my guy. I can kind of, change up green and orange, and it would be, this is just a test scenario, so it's obviously would be much more practical to have not just the same mesh with different textures, but actually different meshes. So, you can change the outfit, you can add different clothes, you can have no outfit at all, really up to you what you want to set up in the nodes. And yeah, I've just got a very basic thing going just to kind of show as an example. Then you can get on to having a population. Basically, I guess the idea would be you would want to, a test case might be, you would have it hooked up to a blueprint that does something like a NPC crowd anim or whatever, from my idea is to eventually get this set up with something like what the city project, the Matrix one has, where they sort of auto-generate different characters, NPCs, except obviously you would have a lot more control over costume and yeah. So the first thing you would need to do is make sure, if you follow the other tutorial, which you should because I didn't really explain how to do it, you'll want to have the Mutable plugin already done, and then you want to have the Mutable population plugin also turned on. You click it, that'll involve a reset. I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. If we go up to the Mutable menu here, okay, let me just type. We want to start off with a population class. Now I'm going to do a new one, so I'll call it Pop Class 2, because I already have one. You want to hook it up to your customizable object. You could have, I suppose, no, I think you can only have one. Okay. And then you're going to add your different characteristics. So you add a few different characteristics. The characteristics are your parameters that you've already set up. So mine are just the jacket, the pants, and the head. There's other things you can do with constraints and tags. I don't know how to do it. I haven't really been bothered trying to figure out how to do it because it's just a test. So I think there's a lot more functionality here, but not what I'm going to bother with. you just need to have that set up in order to get your population. So mutable again, and now we set up customizational population. We'll call that pop2, and that's going to be hooked up here in the index. I'm creating something, and you add your class. We'll call it pop class 2. That's the one I created before. And what you'll see here is you can either test the population, which never seems to work for me. I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong, or I don't know what's going on. It doesn't seem to do anything, but you can generate instances as well. Now, what I would recommend is you press like the dots to choose the amount. If you wanted to just test and you wanted to do like 100, I wouldn't, just because it generates, it doesn't generate it here in like a grid layout or whatever. It generates like separate assets in your project file. So that would kind of, if you were to do like 100, you'd have 100 assets. So I don't know. And it's a little bit, the way it is now, it's a little bit slow, tiny bit buggy. I have my instances folder here, so I'm going to generate them into here. Just anywhere in your project files, and then we click yes. It's gonna save over my other ones, that's fine. And what I didn't even see what I did. 10. I've got 10 instances. So my little clone army is growing. Yeah, so for example, here we have, what's happened to his face? No, he's fine. We have number 10. Each of these is its own customizational object. You can also bake that into an instance. I don't really know what the difference between that is and this, but these are all random instances. It could be any combination of different things. You know, again, I have chosen to go with a lovely fluoro green and an orange of the same mesh, version of the same mesh, and yeah, it's all looking a little bit Squid Game, but not exactly the use case what you would use it for. This is not a super practical thing for me to have, but say if you could be bothered setting up a bunch of actually interesting and differing models, meshes, I think you could use the constraints to kind of pin down same skin tones. So obviously if I had different skin tones, it could end up like that. But yeah, I think it's really powerful. I have no idea what to do with it in terms of like spawning something like an NPC, or if it's useful in the sequencer. As you can see, you can kind of end up with the metahuman just by instancing the body mesh and the face mesh, which is what I've done. But even if I had been bothered plugging in all the materials, I'm not certain whether or not you could do much with these. Like in the sequencer, for example, like you can't really, maybe you can. Yeah, it sort of just does the pants. I think there's some, like, you could do some tooling around with the skeletal meshes or whatever, but like, I wanted to initially use this to auto-generate a bunch of extras that I could throw in the background, and then I would sort of like load them up and just add like a walk cycle or whatever. I'm not sure if it's perfect for that, at least the way I'm doing it, but I'm sure someone smarter than me will come along and figure it out. I just wanted to show off how that tool works and allow you to meet my new friends, of which the possibilities are endless. Bye bye.